Welcome back. This is The Guys Next Door. I am Ron Arenas and my co-host, Pastor John McLean.
Yes, sir.
Brought to you by Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we also have one of our sponsors, Robert from R&R Mini Roll-Offs, here with us today.
Hi, how you doing, guys?
Good, good. How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Yeah,
Awesome.
He's like the third guy next door. You know,
Yeah.
he's a regular stand-in for us. We appreciate you being here, Robert, as always, brother.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
I love coming in and hang out with you guys.
Mhm.
Yeah. It's a fun time to hang out.
Yeah.
It really is, yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
So today we have another guest, and he is another Tucson Badger,
Mm.
class of 1987. He was a senior when I was a freshman, and in 2002 he was the head coach of Team USA Junior National Team for baseball, and he's also been the Pima Community College baseball coach for 14 years, and now he's the vice president of the Desert Vista campus and dean of arts and humanities. Welcome, Edgar Soto.
Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry I couldn't be there in person, but I would have loved to be there in person because I always like doing this stuff face to face. So you're gonna have to. This means you're gonna have to me on again so I could be there in person and bring you lunch to make up for this time.
Absolutely.
We love lunch.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we definitely I wouldn't see why we wouldn't have you on regularly. I don't know if you remember we had me and Andreas had you on the Common Good radio show. And
yeah.
I feel like that was maybe a year or two ago. So you've as I anticipated, your growth has continued to go on. I can't even remember what role you were in before, but you continue to rise. So it's brilliant to watch. And I'm I feel silly to even say this. Proud of the work that you're doing, and I'm definitely glad to be in your sphere of influence because you're doing amazing stuff.
Yeah. Well, I really appreciate those kind words, but just like I think Ron and I talked a little bit about this when we met prior, is that you got to try to build that network, and Andres is part of my network, and then he introduced me to other people, and it's just we got to continue to create these type of spaces and conditions where we can meet, talk, and have real conversations. And it doesn't matter if you're a Republican, Democrat, how you identify. We're all human beings. We all, we're talking about county things. Most people bring up roads. We all got to drive on the same roads, right? So, I love that you guys are doing this, and I love that there's a platform that people can actually have talk and have real conversations with real people.
Exactly. So as a lifelong Tucsonan, you grew up here, you raised your family here, and you spent your career here. Now you're running for Pima County Board of Supervisors District 3. Tell us about that process and what made you decide to run.
So I've been involved in a lot of different things here in Tucson, and you mentioned some of them. Athletics was a big part of my life for a long time. And then when I got an opportunity to be the dean of arts and humanities, I don't do that anymore, but when I got that opportunity, it put me in proximity of a lot of quality people, good people, and I was just trying to get knee deep in learning the arts, the humanities, and I met a gentleman named Matthew Earl Jones, director of film, which kind of got me, going on some things in the past. We talked about the Pima County Sports and Tourism, Major League Baseball, and all these events and things that happen. But what I really realized is that to get anything done of significance that's going to cost money, you've got to do it at the legislative level if it's at the state, and you have to do it at the policy level if it's with Pima County. So what I realized is I can sit back and probably complain like, most people do, or if I have the skill set and the opportunity, I can give it a shot and try to get a seat at the table to weigh in on a lot of these important decisions that impact us.
Very good.
So your family's been in Tucson for multiple generations. Tell us how that inspired you to serve the Board of Supervisors.
Well, I always tell people I didn't cross any borders. The borders crossed us. I've been here for as far back as I can remember, generations. And the thing that I really want to make an impact on is that I want to make sure that we have these dominoes set up, not just for now, but for future generations. So that means good jobs. That means good jobs with livable wages so people can live lives of meaning and purpose. 65% of our graduates from the University of Arizona leave Tucson or leave Southern Arizona because there's not the jobs that we need here that are going to keep them here. So we need to make sure that we're business friendly. We need to make sure that when these big events come, that we do whatever we can to support them and be part of them, so they continue to do that. Because what that brings, it brings positive economic impact. It brings good jobs, and it brings quality entertainment. I don't know. Have any of you ever heard of a group called the Savannah Bananas?
No.
This sounds funny, though. I could say that all day.
Well, take a look at it, like Google it or whatever you want to do. But Savannah Bananas are sort of the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball. And they do all these really cool events, and they sell out everywhere they go. They were just up here in Phoenix, and I had people calling me about it, saying, hey, we need to bring these people to Tucson. And it's just a really cool, fun event for the family that can come out and enjoy it. But it's just like entertaining baseball. And, you know, they do these funny things in between innings and games, kind of like Harlem Globetrotters did.
Right.
But those type of events, you know, one of my goals is that, yeah, we'll probably never get Major League Baseball back, but there's a good chance in 2025 that we're going to have some spring training games here with the Diamondbacks and the Cleveland Guardians and some teams from Mexico. We're one of 4 teams that put in a bid to host the World Baseball Classic qualifiers, and that's looking really positive right now. That's in 2025. So families could come out to the ballpark and watch games during the spring, bring their families, have these amazing experiences. Because the one thing I remember, you know, I don't know how old all of you guys are. I know how old Ron is, but I used to go to the games, and I used to go see Rod Carew play, Reggie Jackson when he played for the Angels. I remember I haven't got a foul ball from Reggie Jackson, and I was so excited. I mean, I was probably 10, 11 years old at the time. It was over at High Corbett. And then I'm walking through the High Corbett field, the Annex Field, and I run into Rod Carew, and he signs my baseball. I still have that baseball. But those kind of memories, I mean, those are special to me, and it's just unfortunate that my kids or didn't have those experiences, or my kids' kids are not going to have that experience. But there's some things that we can still do if we work together. You know, we're a political sub-body of the state, so we are like between the county and the state. I'm talking about, I'm part of an organization, called the Southern Arizona Sports Tourism Film Authority, which is tasked with trying to bring, you know, youth and amateur sports, workforce development, film projects here to Southern Arizona. And so we're, like I said, a political sub-body of the state, but we want to be the conduit that brings these municipalities, the counties all together to make sure that we have a pathway to host these type of events.
Right. You're talking about memories. One of my memories is my grandfather taking me to High Corbett and watching the Tucson Toros.
Mm-hmm.
And it was probably in the early 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that a lot of people talk about that. So, yeah, that's the other thing is that, you know, we're even talking to a potential team that could come play in the stadium where the Sidewinders used to play. So, you know, those are type of things that we're trying to get done. So,
Well, Edgar, we have probably about 2 minutes till we go to break, but for the listeners that want to support what you're doing and want to plug in with you, we have another segment with you after this break, but I definitely want to give them the opportunity of hearing how they can volunteer with you, then maybe canvas with you, even go to your website, just the information of how they can plug in with what you're doing with this run.
Oh, love it. Yeah, no, I'm excited to share that. Yeah.
Please do. Go ahead. This is the time.
Oh, this is the time.
Yeah, we'll do it again, but we'll do it first before the break.
You can go to Soto, SOTO, the number 4, supervisor.com. And that's my website, and you can either help, you know, volunteer, donate. You can find out what I'm all about, and I'm always going to be accessible. So I think I have my cell number on there also, but I'm always accessible. So I don't mind getting phone calls and people ask me, even when they don't agree with me. I think we should be, as administrators of colleges or as elected officials, we should always be accessible to our community and our constituents, whether would they agree with us or not.
Right.
So
yeah, very good. Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We'll come back to you on the next segment. This is the Guys Next Door, brought to you by Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, and R&R Mini Roll-Offs.
Absolutely, and definitely go to sotoforsupervisor.com to throw your support behind Edgar Soto. We'll be talking with him more after the break, but as the coolest guy in Tucson, Ron Arenas, just said, this is the Guy Next Door, and we'll be back right after the break.
Welcome back. This is the Guys Next Door. I'm your host, Ron Arenas, with my co-host, Pastor John McClain.
Yes, sir.
And we're here today with Edgar Soto, which is Vice President of the Desert Vista campus of Pima Community College, and he's running for District 3 for the Pima County Board of Supervisors. Edgar, how you doing?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
We're doing really good, really good.
Bless.
We miss that we don't have you in the studio this time, but we'll definitely have you back.
Yeah.
Well, no, I owe you guys lunch or some desserts or something because I should have been there in person. But I'm hoping that if I do a good enough job today, you guys might invite me back. So
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, definitely when I get you in studio next, I'm going to find out what your youth serum is, because when I looked here and I saw the year that you graduated, I didn't believe it. I thought Ron was messing with me because I thought you and I are the same age, but apparently you're not 40 years old. So, yeah, that's interesting.
no, yeah. I do have a secret though. You want me to give you guys my
Yes.
secret? I'm going to share it
Yeah,
with you right
please.
now. I got a few things. All right, so here it is. So when you get up in the morning, drink a bottle of water,
Okay.
and then take at least a couple walks a day, 10 minutes,
Mm.
and then take a cold shower or do a cold plunge at least for 2-3 minutes, and then do some kind of like stretching, meditation, yoga. So there you go. That's
Interesting.
and
Every
then
day?
intermittent fast,
The
maybe-
cold plunge?
No, well, I do it every day. I don't do a cold. I do a cold shower. I do
Okay.
have a cold plunge where I put ice in it, but I don't do that every day. I do a cold shower every day. But the other thing is intermittent fasting. That is really, but you can't do it too much. Maybe 2-3 times a week. Those are all really good things that I wish I would have known when I was 40 years old. So
Okay.
you get a jump on me there.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll take it.
There it is. Yeah.
Well, good. Yeah, if we start
Well,
doing that,
thank
maybe
you.
we'll start working backwards. you
Yeah,
know?
for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, if I look half as good as you at your age of a prime, we'll say 50, then I'll be happy.
Well, you're too kind, you know. But I tell you, I think there is actually some life hacks that you can actually do. So yeah, I'm always willing to share that stuff.
I
So
appreciate it.
Yeah,
tell me
thank
whenever
you.
you want to get together.
Okay.
And I got the perfect 20-minute workout.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there you go.
All right. Hey, so working as a coach with Pima Community College, you have the opportunity to impact a lot of young people's lives for many years. Can you tell us a short story about seeing a player or student later in life that you have impacted?
You know, I'm going to share a story which was interesting. His name was I want to say his first name was Aaron, and I'm trying to get the first name, but this young man, he was from a small town in southern Arizona. I want to say like Benson or St. David or something like that, but he played for me as a freshman, right? He played for me as a freshman, left-handed pitcher, really, you know, quality, good pitcher, was a quality guy, and then the next year, he didn't make our team. He got cut. And I remember talking to him about, because it's really tough. I mean, you only can keep 25 on the team, right, at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's really challenging because you have so many good players. And sometimes, like, people would say that I place, they say I would place over 100% of my players at four-year schools. And the reason they said over 100% is because there were guys that maybe made our team in the fall, but then I'd have to cut them in the spring, and were really good ball players. Probably the best ball player in the high school, but I would send them to other JCs or other schools because we just have a lot of talent here in southern Arizona. Well, anyways, to get
right.
back to it, this young man, Aaron, I ended up having to cut him, and I did it in the most graceful, kindest way and just was honest with him. He called me probably about maybe 10 years ago. This was a long time, probably the year 2000 or something like that, and he thanked me for cutting him. And what he said was, had I not cut him, that he probably would have been chasing that baseball dream, and he wouldn't be an orthopedic surgeon right now.
Oh, wow.
You know, sometimes, you think in the moment that, man, this is a bad situation, and you realize later, you know what, that was actually a blessing because it got me going on my true passion and something which was really my purpose. So, I share that to share this, is that people do not understand what their passion, but you got to keep searching, keep exploring. And sometimes when you think, doors closing, it's just because another one needs to open. So I guess that's one story that I feel like might have not been great at the moment, but ended up being a real positive.
Yeah, is that it sounds like there's probably a story you can empathize with, because I imagine, all of us guys, we have the the ability to run away with our fantasies sometimes. Because
Yeah.
I know I wanted to be a rapper and an actor and all kind of like I wanted to be a president actually at one time. So I wanted to be all kind of things.
Yeah.
But then, like you're saying, I had to eventually face that. Okay, here are some more practical things you can do. You can still be a dreamer, you know. Thankfully, here I am doing a radio show and all the other kind of cool things that we've got to do. But nonetheless, like you're saying, I had to put away certain fantasies to own this. And I want to imagine you at one time probably wanted to be a professional baseball player too. I'm guessing you were pretty good yourself, and now you know you found yourself on this path. How would you say that transition continues as you now take on the courage of running for supervisor and now stepping into a new, what I would perceive as a new world, even though I'm sure there's plenty of politics within administration and schooling, a different kind of beast of a different nature?
Yeah. You know, I love that question because most people don't wake up or, you know, when we're 5 years old, sharing what we want to be when we grow up. Nobody's saying I want to be a vice president at a community college. So these things just end up happening. And these, you know, I'm a firm believer that the universe will guide you and point you in the right direction if you just don't resist and kind of go with the flow with some of this. So for me is the message I think I have is that, like, keep exploring and keep learning. I consider myself a lifelong learner, right?
Right.
And I love learning new things. I love people. People are fascinating to me. You know, I play in a 50 and over slow pitch softball team, and we play on Sundays at Santa Rita Park, which is on 22nd and I-10 area, which if you've been there, a lot of homeless, right? A lot of people that don't have housing and dealing with a lot of things. And I have conversations, and I have some fascinating conversations with people and trying to understand their story. But I think it's just, you know, putting yourself, get really comfortable being uncomfortable, you know, going to talk to someone. Don't be afraid of embarrassing yourself. You know, people these days, I can't do that. It's going to be awkward. I'm going to feel embarrassed. You know, don't be afraid to embarrass yourself. Talk to people you normally wouldn't talk to. You know, try things you normally wouldn't do. So, but yeah, I did want to be a Major League Baseball player. And I tell people I got a chance to play Division I baseball. I played at University of New Mexico in Albuquerque. And I tell people I wasn't big, but I was slow, so, you know, so, you know, but everything, you know, I feel like you just got to continue to learn and experience. It's not about the destination for me, in my experience, all about the journey.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. Like yourself, I've always tried to be a lifelong learner. And one of the things I just did a couple of months ago was I took an improv class, an 8-week improv class.
oh, I want to do that. Is that here in Tucson?
It
Or
is.
is it online?
No, it's here in Tucson.
Yeah.
It's a live class, and that completely took me out of my comfort zone. I was
Oh,
so
my
uncomfortable
goodness.
the first couple weeks, just, you know, embarrassed. And
Which is surprising to me because I know you well enough to know how funny you really are. And you have some of the good kind of like off the top remarks that I'm sad I missed it.
to get up there in front of everyone and do these different exercises and everything and say things that you normally wouldn't say, you know, it's just, it was uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And at one point I was just like, well, I need to just either dive in or get out. So I dove in, and it was a great experience.
That's cool.
I want to try that. Yeah, we got to have a follow-up conversation. I definitely want to go try that.
Unscrewed Theater.
Yep.
Unscrewed Theater. Yeah, definitely check it out.
Yeah.
But speaking of other things that I've been checking out, when I went to SotoForSupervisor.com and just kind of you know, asking around about your run, you know, I actually conspicuously ran for mayor myself in 2011. So, you know, we have a lot of the same, you know, friends or people that we know, and they were saying you consider yourself a moderate Democrat. That's what it says at SotoForSupervisor.com. What does that mean? Like, explain that to our audience a little bit.
I mean, I feel like we've gotten so extreme, and the reality is that only about 15% of registered voters vote in their primaries, right? And a lot of times those are your most extreme, you know, people that feel that they have the answers or that they have the solutions, and that, you know, they're not willing to compromise or talk to the other side. So because of that, a lot of elected officials or people running, you know, cater to their extremists, right? So, you know, I want to make sure that people know I'm willing to work on both sides of the aisle. I'm willing to work with anybody who wants to build community. You know, I don't care if you're an R, you're a D, whatever it is, if you're willing to build community and create pathways to prosperity and success and do positive things in our world, then I'm all for it. But if what you're talking about is going to create barriers to build community, it's going to create obstacles, then yeah, I probably want to go in a direction where people are willing to do positive things in the world and leave it better than we found it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you know, as a representative, that's what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to be representing the people that elected you and make a better world for everyone. So that's so refreshing to hear.
Yeah. Well, the thing that people think that as you're an elected official that you got to know everything or be able to have all these experiences, and the reality is you got to be willing to listen. And so, for example, I'm not going to take any of my personal agenda or anything. No, my job is to go listen to my constituents, see what they need to have, better pathways to success or whatever, and then me to take it forward and to serve them. I'm not trying to have my own personal stuff, agenda. No, it's to listen to my community, my constituents, and they're the ones that are going to tell me which direction I want to go. I'm there to represent them. That's how that works. So that's my belief.
It almost seems, I mean, funny enough, and I have no experience, so I'm speaking out of just top of my head, that it's almost like the next step in your current role with being dean, where it's like you are that intermediary between the higher ups and the students, and now instead of listening to the kids at that school, you're listening to quote unquote the children of this county and trying to take into consideration what they need. Not to call us children, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah. No, you're right on. My job is to listen and then to serve and then to lead. And that's actually one of my mantras: listen, serve, lead. Because
I'm sorry to cut you off, Edgar. It was my fault for winding you up, but we're real quick, SotoForSupervisor.com. Any other way people can get a hold of you? We got about 30 seconds. We have to jump out of here.
520-904-1334. That's it.
Thank you so much, Edgar. We appreciate it, brother. This is The Guys Next Door, brought to you by Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing and R&R Mini Roll-Offs. I'm Pastor John McClain, here with the coolest guy in Tucson, Ron Arenas, with Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. We'll see you next week.